All right, this is going to be a lesson in how to join the Microsoft team and SharePoint site for the ITE Dataset Manager. Each individual instructor is provided a dataset either at the battalion or at the brigade level. The datasets are then programmed into the system by myself or Miss Felicia Coverson, and then the user has the ability to go and download their dataset. First thing we need to do is we need to join this Microsoft team. So in order to join a team, you're simply going to go to create or join a team. You'll click on the button, and where this code is asking you to enter a code, you're going to enter the following code, this code right here. Once you've entered that code, you're now a member of the Microsoft team. And on the home page, you'll see these tabs across the top. ITE Dataset Manager. If you click on the ITE Dataset Manager, you are now accessing a SharePoint site. You can either execute from this set or click on this little globe in the right-hand corner. And this little globe, when you click on it, will pull up the dataset site. That'll look just like this. Currently, you can see there are 89 members. If you click on this link, you should see your name. If you can't see this, then you're obviously not a member. But you can also check that members list to see if your individuals are on this. Now, when you open up the Dataset Manager, it'll look similar to this. Here are the links to the actual ITE datasets, Alpha and Bravo. It gives you the passwords for each, and it gives you the OBIEE password. Something to bear in mind with these passwords. They represent, A represents the dataset, 2-1 represents the fiscal year, and the 1 before the @ symbol, or in this case, the 1 before the @ symbol here, represents the number of times it's been reset. So if you ever go to log on and it doesn't work, all you need to do is change this number from a 1 to a 2, or a 2 to a 3, or a 3 to a 4, and eventually the password will work. If you click on this button, it will take you to the ITE dataset URL. These buttons represent operator IDs, login IDs for levels above brigade. If you're at battalion and you need a data manager logon or an HR supervisor or a validator for whatever reason, you would simply click on this button and it'll pull up all of the individuals, and you can then view for subcats. You can group it by subcat, and now that you need an HR data user, here are the individuals. We'll talk about these XX here in just a moment. And again, if you need division or core headquarters, the same principle applies. Now down here, you should see your name. If you don't see your name, you don't have a data set assigned, and you need to reach out to myself or Ms. Coverson, and we will assign you a data set. If you see your name more than once, that means you are probably an individual who has a brigade data set, and therefore you need access to all of the battalions and the brigade headquarters. But most individuals should see just their name. It'll tell you their course name or where we have you slotted to get that data set. And then it'll have this brigade data set alphanumeric character. H0 is mine, for example, and that means I have data set H0. And in that data set, there are 5 battalions and a brigade headquarters. So I have data set H027 infantry, which means I only have 1/6 of that data set to use. That means other individuals are using H0 as well, but they're using a different battalion data set. And so if I just click on my name once, if I just click on this link one time, you'll see that it resets to show me just 27 infantry. Every data set is exactly the same. The only thing that changes are where these XXs go are replaced by your data set, H0. So in all of my data sets, my UICs are H0GAA. My department IDs start with H0. My operator IDs all start with H0. That is to say that if your data set F1, then it would be F1 010000181.01. So everybody has Staff Sergeant Annuar, but the only thing that changes on Staff Sergeant Annuar is those first 2 characters. Now that you have your assigned data set and you understand how they work, so in order to see your data set, you can have it sent directly to your Army email. We will double click on this link, and from this report, we will select an option. We can either send as an HTML file or we can send as a CSV file. We're going to send as a CSV file. Once that's done and saved, you can close out of this. What you should get in your email is a copy of a report that you can open up as an HTML or a CSV file or Excel file. So I'm going to open this up, and what you see is it's taken that file that we looked at and it's replaced all the XX's with the H0, my data set. H0, if it's you, it could be D0, D5. Whatever your assigned data set is, it goes ahead and replaces everything for you. So now when you want to log in, you will use, if you want to log in as Staff Sergeant Annuar, you'll use this operator ID and the password that's located here for that data set you're in. So once you have this report, you can organize it and distribute it to your students. The idea is that the headquarters staff will remain consistent with yourself. You will be the one that controls the usage of that. And then you will issue out members to transact on by the company. So to give you an example of what that looks like, this is just an example. This is not the way, it's just a way. We take a data set and we break it up and we give it to the students so that they have something to utilize, to log in with. So here's an example of how I distributed a set. But as you can see, I took the operator ID for the headquarters staff and I broke it down by this is the headquarters. You have the commander, the managers, the provider group admins, and everybody. And I've highlighted everybody in the S1 pool as a blue. Then I have the company leadership, because if I'm doing PARs on Alpha Company individuals, I have to use Alpha Company commanders. If I'm doing PARs on Bravo Company people, I have to use Bravo Company leadership and so on. And then these are the members to transact on. So these are the individuals that on the ITE data set you received are just members. And I will assign a student to each member. So therefore, if I want to do a member to transact on, I want to assign each student in the class a member to transact on. So if I'm going to do a PAR, then Mr. Harvey will log in as my HR pro, and I will perform a PAR on my member Zacchaeus. And that's who I'll do it on, because not everyone can log in as an HR pro and do a PAR on the same person. They have to have their own individual to work on. So this is an example of how you could take your data set, break it up for distribution and presentation to your students. And that is how you use the ITE Dataset Manager. Again, in recap, you should log in. You should make yourself a member of the team. If you already are, then you should have an assigned data set. If not, reach out to somebody who can assign you a data set. And from there, you can double click on this link. You can then go in and send yourself a report. Once you've received the report, it should not change. You shouldn't have to send yourself a new report every single class. It should be the same one. Just bear in mind that you don't want to assign the same member to transact on to consecutive students. So, for example, if you give an AIT class, then you would perform, your first class would be Alpha Company, second class would be Bravo Company, third class would be Charlie Company. Then the data sets would reset and you would move to the Bravo URL and you could start over again, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and so on. Finally, once you've distributed your data set, you remember where the passwords are. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or issues. Defend and serve.